about church hurt. We have been talking about growing up in church and sharing a couple of our experiences. Hopefully it helps somebody. If not, hopefully somebody can relate or whatever. Even if somebody wants to hate or, send us some messages, we are fair game, right? We don't do it for that intent, but of course we are always ready to defend our faith and defend our beliefs and things of that nature. So, you can't trump somebody's experience. Your experience is your experience. So that has been your reality at some point or the other. But anyhow, we decided to go ahead and move forward, and now we're talking about church hurt. Church hurt is like this big thing that kind of gets swept under the rug because sometimes I think people don't value the fact that it's possible to get hurt in church.
I think it's because for me to acknowledge church hurt, I have to be humble enough to say, hey, I could have hurt somebody myself. So in order for me to be humble and admit that I've hurt somebody, I just say, there's no such thing as church hurt. Yeah. Because we're all guilty of not being the best that we could be in every relationship within church. Everybody has either hurt somebody or been hurt. And so the thing is that we just need to be forgiving and ask for forgiveness when need be.
Yeah. I mean, because the fact of the matter is that we're humans, right? I've been in church my entire life. I've seen fights. I've seen arguments. I've seen folks get cussed out. I'm talking about in the church, not in the parking lot, not on the street, like in the church, right? I've seen missionaries dating their fellow members' husbands. I've seen preachers, cheating on the wife. I've seen it all, right? And you think that those behaviors are not going to hurt somebody? That's not even a fair statement, right? We all get hurt to some degree.
And even in the deeper level is that, maybe I heard something about you. So instead of me going and saying, I go tell Sherelle. And it gets back, that's hurtful as well. We've all said something against somebody that we shouldn't have said. On every level, there's somebody that's been hurt or we've been hurt ourselves.
Exactly. I mean, there's been manipulation. It happens in the church. Abuse happens in the church. We typically see, sexual abuse made public as a result of certain types of churches, but it happens everywhere. I mean, predators are everywhere. They're not excluded from one environment over the other. And so people do have experiences that have caused them to be hurt. Sometimes physically right in the church or by someone they recognize and respected in their church position. You know what I mean? And so I don't think it's right to discount those experiences. But like you said, humble yourself. If you know you were the attacker, humble yourself. Everything is not gone from your memory. You know what I mean? Like, not everything. Right? Not everything. So sometimes when when it was you, right? And when it was them. You're not always the victim.
Exactly.
And
even when somebody brings it to your attention, and maybe it wasn't your intention to come off that way. You're still responsible to say, hey, my bad. I didn't really.
At the least.
At the least. But I think at some point, because I know, I'll just be honest, like if somebody come telling me that, it takes me a few days, right. To actually, or weeks to right, because I have to see it that way, right, and so then my expectation shouldn't be immediate for the other person. If I share with them, like, what you did or what you said was offensive or whatever, they may not believe it right away. It may take them a little bit. God may have to deal with them on some level or, for some time. But, at some point, once you realize it, I mean, reconciliation is a huge benefit to the kingdom of God. It's something that we can it's so freeing, to just reconcile, just put it out there. But it's something that we struggle with, and I think it's just because of pride, like our pride just won't allow us to be like, you know what, I was wrong in this situation.
And I think it's also because we give this illusion that because I'm saved, I'm perfect. If I have a title, that means I'm more holy or I'm more anointed.
This shouldn't be happening.
This shouldn't be. No, it's not me. It's you.
Wow.
But
I can't believe you would think like that.
But the reality of it is that we are all different people coming together into one organized, and we're going to have different personalities. We're going to have different communications. We're going to have different ways of culture, ideas, and aspects that we grew up in that might seem offensive to me. Or I might be harsh in talking to my brother and my sister. But if I come into other people, if I be harsh, that's offensive. church hurt is almost inevitable, but
Yes.
it's how we handle it and reconcile that's what matters.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe that, in the last episode, go ahead and watch part 1, thank you. But on the last episode, the question was asked about, like, cults and bondage and things of that nature. Like, I do believe that some of the cultish ways create hurt, because when you have defined groups within the group, right, you're excluding people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
People come because they want to be included.
Right.
They don't come because they want to still be excluded. They're already excluded from things, right? And so by the time I come into Christ and come into the body and come into fellowship with the saints at this house of worship, I don't want to be excluded some more.
Right.
Like, I may already be an outcast in my family. I may already be an outcast at work. I may already be the outcast in my school environment, or, with the teenagers or on the streets or whatever. I may already be an outcast. And then I come into this thinking that it's all love and it's all about Christ and it's all about this and that. But then there's these, this subculture within the culture that has shown me, that has told me, I can't be a part of this. I can't come to the functions. I can't do this. I'm not ever going to be invited. What do you think that does to a person? Right? And like you said, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different experience and different walks and stuff. Some people are dealing with unresolved trauma that didn't start with the church, but maybe it didn't start with the church, but maybe it, so something may be familiar. People have unresolved forgiveness in their heart of different things, and so sometimes when you coming in, you're just not perfect, right? Your heart's not already just on the line and free, right? You're coming in for something. I mean, you keep coming for something. You know what I mean? When you come to God, I mean, you don't just come for no reason. Like, you're coming for something.
Right.
And so if all I recognize is the things that hurt me, right? That's what I'm gonna focus on, right? Because that's gonna be the red flag to me.
And I think also to piggyback on that is also the hurt, but it's who hurts us.
Yes.
So I'm coming to the church and say you're not supposed to hurt me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
that's good.
Because you hurt me, now I'm hurt. But now it's coming from who it's coming from. But we have to understand that we're all imperfect, working to be more mature.
Yeah.
Right? And so we have to get off, because you're a minister, you're not allowed to make mistakes and hurt my feelings.
That's right. Right. That's right.
No. We, as brothers, need to come together. That's why the Bible says that you have an ought, go to your brother, because everything can be worked out within communication. Like saying, hey, when you did that, you said that to me, that hurt my feelings. But if I don't, and I'll just be like, he said he a minister. And now, he's supposed to be church guy in Christ. You can't get Jordan.
That was my biggest. That was really my biggest issue, because sometimes I was too passive and I would let things kind of roll over. And being in leadership or just even working just in the church, wherever, that's a different beast. Like, you dealing with different people, like you said, everybody is different. And sometimes just me, my own nature, I would just let things, and then before you know it, weeks, months go by, and I'm hard in certain areas, or I'm pulling away from certain things because I'm, this thing that I could have just simply voiced right then and there when I felt it has now creeped into my relationship with God, and it's starting to pull me away from certain things. So now I'm disconnected. Now I'm like, okay, this feels weird. I ain't been at this place in a long time, and so now I'm just out here, stuck.
And I think and church hurt, we have to get to a place like, yes, church hurt is very real.
It is.
But and there's a dual responsibility. There's a responsibility of those who have been the cause of church hurt to acknowledge it, but also for us who have experienced church hurt, it's like, what do we do with it? Do I use this and harp on it, and then I feed it and grow it with resentment, with bitterness, with unforgiveness? Or I do what the Bible says, look, leave your gift at the altar and you go to that person. And now if that person doesn't want to acknowledge it, then you leave it there. But I'm not going to continue to take it home, because then if I leave it in my heart, then I get into a relationship it's gonna bleed off into relationships. Then it's gonna bleed if I go to a different church. Then I'm gonna have this in my head like, oh, y'all just gonna hurt me anyway, so I'm not gonna go back to church.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Like, because we've been church hurt, we have to find a way to say, you know what, I am, and it's real for me. But Lord, I have to allow you to heal me because this is just a part of it's a part of life, and we have to get delivered, not using it as something to just keep us bound because we have jobs. Yeah, we have jobs. They hurt us in a job, but it seems that we hold on to church hurt more than we hold on to our job hurt, or we go. I have friends like I'm quick to forgive my friend. But for some reason, I'm not quick to forgive my brothers and my sisters. So we have a dual responsibility to hold people accountable, but also for us to work in forgiveness, even if the person doesn't say I'm sorry.
That's why I feel like it's important to seek ye first the kingdom of God, because you have to know God, because He'll really direct you in what you say and everything. Because when we growing up in church, from a lot of church hurt that I had, it was like me just being myself. I wasn't accepted just for me being who I was. I was very direct. I asked questions directly, and they'd be like, just say like, don't say that, don't say it. So it made me feel like kind of like shut in, shut off. So I just felt like, dang, I just can't say anything at this point. So even if I wanted to ask for help, that's when my pride came in, and it was like I can't ask for, I can't even ask for help, because I feel like if I ask for help and it's something that is unnormal, or not, not normal, my mistake, not normal, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe she asked me this. It's like I couldn't even go to, that person in the church, or, comfortably. So it was just like, I got really resentful, and being grown up in the church made me really resentful, and just being just being myself. So I mean, I could go on and on about this.
I love this topic. I mean, I just I became a rebel on a mission.
That's basically what she was gonna say.
Because it I mean, for some of us, that's the way it pushes us.
Right?
Because we're on a mission to just tear this crap down. You know what I mean? Because because our perceptions and things have been shaped because of our experiences, and if that's my life, right? Because growing up years until you had a choice and could make your own choice,
right, yes.
Which really, for a lot of people, is when they got out their parents' house. That's when you really had a choice not to go to church no more, right? But when it was just a mandate, like you go on Monday night for this, Tuesday night for this, Wednesday night for this. I mean, you can still hang out with your friends and whatnot, and go to the movies and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, the church was your life, right?
Yes.
And so then you have your friends on the outside that don't go to church. That's like hearing stuff, or seeing something on the news that somebody within the church did. Yeah. And they're like, well, how can you believe in that stuff? And how can you this and that?
You don't got no explanation.
I didn't know. I wasn't saying. I was just, growing up there. And I don't know. I'm with y'all.
That's the realest thing I've heard.
I'm asking the questions you guys are asking.
I'm trying to get to know him.
Right? But I will ask the question. I will say the thing. I mean, I have a lot more tact now because the Lord has saved me and delivered me from my own mouth, And so I say things better and I dress things better, now. But back then, I would confront you. I don't care who you was. I don't care if you was a pastor, whoever, right? I would confront you and say you were wrong. Yes. And how could you sit there and do this, this, and this? You were wrong, right? Yes. And now my approach was wrong. Yes. My intent was wrong, because my intent was actually to just get my word out and how I felt, right? And so they rightfully so could have said, Danae, you really hurt me with your words, or you hurt me the way you came at me. That was offensive, disrespectful. Which, I wouldn't do that at work to my CEO, right? I mean, so there is a level of disrespect, and so there is a responsibility to you as the person, right?
Definitely.
My excuse was, well, I'm not saved, so.
My excuse was, I didn't know how to say it, so it came out like that.
So, I'm good, you know what I mean?
I wasn't saved.
But, my friends and people just from growing up, high school, everything, they thought, oh, that's the church family over there. So when they looked at us, they just thought they just church family. So that's just what it was. They thought you automatically saved and all this stuff because you got to. And they be asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know. I gotta ask my dad because he read the Bible. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, it throws you off, right?
Yeah.
And then when you have these experiences, and like you said, when you don't say anything, it starts to fester and build up a little bit. You know, and then it's like somebody gonna explode, and it's gonna be you.
Yeah.
Because that person is moving on with life.
Exactly.
And you still stuck in what happened, right? Because you didn't voice it and get it out. That's why I felt like, well, I have to get it out. I have to say this, and I have to say it immediately. Because you don't need to keep carrying on the way that you are. And I don't need to keep feeling the way I feel. So it's better for me to get it out. But again, my intent was wrong. Right. You know, now if it's a situation, I should pray about it first.
Yes.
You know, but these are things that somebody who would have maybe mentored me or something like that, that knew me as a person and just didn't, like you said, like brush you out like, oh, that's Sherelle. I got that a lot too, like, oh, that's Danae. You know, that's Danae. You gonna hear her mouth. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. But it's somebody, and there was people. There really was people that would say, "Listen, that was wrong."
Right.
And then that's on me to say, "No, you wrong." You know, or to say, "You know what, you're right." You know, but usually I took the other road, right? But that was because of where I was.
Yeah.
You know, and I own up to that. That was because of where I was as an individual. It wasn't because I knew all this stuff and I just wanted to be. I intentionally was a rebel because I did not have God in my heart. I knew about God. I did because I knew about the Bible. We had to read the Bible, but we was playing games. We was going, you grow up in Sunshine Band, all this kind of thing. You just going through the motions of church. But I voluntarily chose not to have a relationship with Christ ever and never expected to because of what happened in the church. Because of the things I saw, because of the things that I experienced myself.
Because we equate the church and what happens to the church as God, right?
Yeah,
and that's really where the heart comes. The hurt comes. And so then when we leave the church, we leave God because we think that the God in church is what they're synonymous, and it's supposed to be a reflection of God, but we have everyday people. And so as you grow in your relationship with God, you understand that, you know what? People will be people.
Exactly.
And that we have to show grace and mercy because one day I'm going to hurt somebody. And I will want them to show me as much grace. So when I receive hurt, I have to now show that person some grace and some mercy and say, hey, this hurt me when this has happened. And they like, no, I still have to show some grace because one day I can't turn up on them and be like, well, no, you did it, and this and that, and you ain't saved, because the same measure I'm judging this person when I hurt your feelings, that's gonna come right back on me.
Right.
Because nobody is above church hurt.
Nope. Right. Nobody.
We all gonna hurt some feelings.
Yeah. That's why it's good to know people. Know them that labor among you. Because if I don't know the day, she just going on, I'm like, dang, she tripping. Like, I want to go back. Then I'm like, dang, she probably having a bad day. That's why you gotta know people that's amongst you. That's why it's very important.
Relationship.
Yeah, relationship is very important when you're in the church. And that's why I have to learn, because I would have went bad too. Like, oh, okay, dang, they probably having a bad. Because I think some days and then I think some weeks. Right. They probably having a bad. Let me text them. Let me call them. Yeah. So that that's why it's important to know that relationship with people.
Yeah. It's very important.
And then when you can do that, then you can say, hey, I choose not to carry on this certain relationship right now with myself because this is going to be a continual pattern. I'm not going to set myself to always continue to be
Yes.
It's okay to disconnect. It's okay to say, hey,
Lord, that's right.
Paul and Silas, they went separate ways.
Yep.
Paul and Peter didn't always agree. It's okay. It's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Right.
Yep.
And it's perfectly fine.
And it's perfectly fine.
And you know what? And it's okay to not be manipulated and abused anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
We teach people, right? If somebody comes and says, oh, they're abusing me and beating me and all that. And we'll coach them along in that type of abuse, right? But when people come and say they've been hurt by the church and they've been abused by the church and things of that nature, it's almost like that don't even exist. Or you all right, just get over it. No. No, like that. I think that get over it and just move on with life, those statements, I know that that's kind of the ways of the traditions and things that I came through, was, you know, when situations come and things happen, no matter if it was in the church outside, you just moved on. You always made sure you looked a certain way. Yeah. Right? Because don't go outside embarrassing me. Don't go outside with looking angry, looking sad. Don't bring people looking at you like, what happened? Don't bring all that attention over here. Because of what goes on in the house, stay in the house, right? You just move on, right? You don't stop to deal with it. But guess what that does? That jacks you up in the mind, right? So now here you are these years later, trying to figure some stuff out because now these triggers have happened and now you done popped off, or now you feel like you're so deeply depressed, or now you feel like you just like about to lose your mind, right? Because you have so many unresolved things because my foundation is I just got to move on. But guess what happens when I move on? That's all unresolved.
Yeah. I buried it.
I buried it. And at some point, because God desires us to live free and live abundantly, right? Yes. You can't live abundantly if you're so bound in years old thoughts and years old areas of where you didn't get delivered and freed from, right? If you live there too long, guess what's going to happen? Them roots, those roots that your whole life has been, your whole tree of life has been built on the foundation of these roots. These roots is big and strong, just like if we look at a natural tree, right? If you was abandoned when you was 3, you let that root grow. Now you got a whole tree and some little sparked up new trees around that, right? Guess what the branches are going to be, right? Because that was unresolved, right? So maybe you didn't even remember it until now this big thing happens. And now you're like, God, I'm about to lose my mind. What is going on? Like, I need to do something because I can't just pray it away. I can't just not deal with it. I can't just keep it, you know, like I'm boiling on the inside and I'm going to explode. And when I explode, guess what? They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Because I'm probably going to feel crazy because I'm going to lose control of everything. Right? And that's what some of that stuff drives us to. And that does not exclude church hurt. Church hurt could be the root of some of our issues.
And it affects how we love God.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
The Bible says that we need to love God with all our heart. But the caveat is saying that you can't say you love God who you haven't seen, and hate your brother who you've seen every day.
Right.
So if I have that hurt and unforgiveness from my brother, I can't love God with all my heart effectively. And that's why God is so big on forgiveness. He says, look, don't even bring your gift to me. You leave it and go make it right, because you can't really worship God right. If I come to church and I have an audience issue, I can't worship God.
Right.
And then he pulled up in the car, like, why he being blessed? He can't even me like, oh, how come this and that? Like, oh, look at him, like he over there praising God. God ain't hearing him because he hurt me.
That's real.
So now I'm focused over here. And I can't even focus on God. Because the root is up in my heart. And so what God wants to do through our church heart is say, look, let me dig through this hurt and pull up the root. And you need to go to that person and say, hey, you hurt me. Whether they say acknowledge it or not, you leave it there.
You leave it.
You leave it there. And you come back and make sure you're good. And that's what all my life I had to deal with disappointments. Broken promises and this, and I had to say, Mom, like, why do I keep putting my trust? I had to realign where I need to where my trust was, because I was giving people too much power to continue to break my heart. This is. Now I know who I am in God. I know what God has told me, and if God is going to build this relationship, you're going to help me and be an asset, but you're not going to be a liability in my life.
You're not going to be a
liability. So.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of like church leaders have unresolved hurts, have unresolved unforgiveness and areas of their own life that they need to be freed and delivered from. But because of their position, they can't lay those weights and sins aside, right, in order to be free themselves, in order to then truly lead and lead effectively from the heart. You know, because your heart is compiled of everything that's not good, right? And that's what's deep in there. The Bible says, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And so when you get up or when you're in a setting where you're talking, a lot of times how you feel comes out through that, right? That what is deep in your heart. A lot of times, so we may hear a preached word that is condemning, You know, and you're like, I come to church for that, you know? Came to church to be uplifted, you know? Like, where's this coming from? Something must have happened, you know, because that's what something must have happened. Somebody had an argument.
Especially when you've been in church long enough.
Exactly, you already know.
I could probably see looking at the person
who just walked out of church.
Exactly.
That's so funny, you know that.
Exactly. So, you know, I mean, for church leaders and like, I mean, it's tough, right? It's a tough position because who do you go to, right? You the leader. Everybody come to you with their stuff. Who do you go to? Do you have an outlet?
That's why you have a circle. Everybody, no matter what position you have to have a circle of people of wise counsel.
Yes.
Wise. Not just people that's going to say yes.
Yeah. You need people to be like, Vaughn, you tripping.
That's right.
And Vaughn, you ain't worried about what they do, but what you do.
Yeah.
Right. That was one of the hardest things for me too. Is like, you know, not even like, not so much of just having it, but like, how do I acquire that? Like that was like one of my prayers. Like for the longest, I would always tell you like, I need mentors or I desire mentors. But the course of the time where I was at, Lord was just like, at this point, I don't need you to put anything into no man.
Yeah.
I need you to center, like you were saying. You gotta get focused and aligned with me. Then I can bring people and structure around you to support you and help you. But you have to understand that before you get to that, you have to solely rely on me. And like that, but that is definitely important, having a support system, someone to tell you, no, you was wrong. Oh, you
sometimes
tripped.
they be there, you just and it's just to something else.
Yeah.
I'll call you back.
Yeah.
You already know how the conversation headed.
Oh, you too? All right, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought my other friend was going to turn me up.
Right.
Exactly. Because you already know you got that group.
Hold on,
You know.
I'll call you back real quick.
Something going down, you know.
Man, but that's why people don't call me because I'll be like that. I'm like, see, you gotta admit it. All right, Sherelle, I'm delivered now.
Right.
I've been there.
Right. Exactly. It's true.
Playing the games.
It's so true. I mean,
have a good day.
right, exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and get off this phone.
That's the one. Oh, man.
Get up.
That's
Like,
really
it's late. I'm going to let you go. Be blessed.
Right. I've been on the phone too long.
Be like, oh, my phone about to die. Look at that.
Now you gotta feel better.
Okay.
Your phone could be connected to each other. My phone about to die.
Exactly.
Just running.
Funny. That's facts.
It is. It really is. You know, because we want to be mad sometimes. Like,
yes,
you know, we just want to
Right.
stay in our feelings sometimes. You know, it's just the truth. You know, but I mean, I think that the most important thing is that there should be a level of respect on the fact of somebody saying, you know, they were hurting. I think it was last year, was it, where it was going all over social media. They were making the memes and stuff like that. Church. And some of it was funny, you know. But a lot of it was recognizable because, you know, at least, we can laugh about it now. But then people was posting actual real experiences. And people was getting on their posts like, no, you lying. Or kind of just discounting that experience. You can't discount somebody's experience. This was their reality. This really happened for them. Now, if they lying, right?
Yeah.
But if it's their real experience, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, how do you judge that? You know what I mean? And tell them, it ain't that bad.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, actually, it was that bad for me. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's why you always have to redirect people to God and understand that. Hey,
gotta keep going back to God.
Yeah, because
how about me?
Like, I see what you've been through, and it's real.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot associate this experience at this place, at this local body, with God, your Father, and having a relationship. Because once you start merging the two, when you leave that church, you're gonna walk away from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because there are a lot, and I'm gonna say, no matter how great of a church you go to,
That's right.
somebody's gonna hurt your feelings.
Somebody's
gonna hurt, because there's no perfect place. Like, we all need help.
Yeah.
We all need
That's good.
And so we have to now take this and identify it. And this is why the Bible is always direct. Go to that person. They want to hear you, go get a witness and then come back.
Yeah.
You know, they're so direct because if you don't, like you said, it will fester.
Yeah.
And then now you will hate God because you think that it's the church. Like, you can't differentiate the two.
Yeah.
And you just walk away completely. And then we see people who walk away from God.
That's true.
And live any kind of lifestyle and do this.
That's
and it's
right.
all
That's
not because
right.
they want to go live that, because they're hurt about something that happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something happened.
And I believe that even like creating those, like we talked about last episode, you know, creating those expectations.
Yeah.
Sometimes not living up to the expectation really can cause discouragement.
Yep.
And some other things cause you to feel like a failure
Yeah.
when you're not living up to the expectations of someone else, because you didn't even know that they had those expectations of you, right? Like, just because my dad is a preacher don't mean I got to be a preacher. Like,
right.
So no, my path may very well be different, and that's actually okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know you expected me.
Right.
And so now you put me in this box, and so I'm always a failure, and I'm always this and that. Why are you living your life that way? I'm always being questioned. But it's like, maybe that wasn't my path, right? Maybe that was not what God's plan for my life, you know? Or maybe it's not His plan right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody in my family thought ever, including me. I never expected to be where I am in God and nowhere, right? Like, this is all like, that's how you know it's God, right? It wasn't, well, you know, it has to be God. But, you know, for those who do, like, sometimes you come from, like, some people come from that family where the oldest son or the only son is just expected to. You know, if the dad is a pastor or the dad is, you know, this figure in the church, you know, it's like, well, your son has to follow that, right? Like, and it's expected of. So if the son decides, well, I really don't want to do that, I want to go out and just be a drug dealer and do some other stuff, you know, it's like, or maybe I want to go out and just be great in corporate America, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I want to go be great in doing world missions,
right?
You know, well, that's not what we want you to do,
right? Yeah.
Right? But that just does something. It's not because you want better for the person. It's just you want them to follow in your footsteps because you want to create this lineage of some sort.
And also sometimes people try to relive the life of that person.
Yes.
And that becomes unfair. And that's what a lot of hurt is.
That's unfair.
Because you didn't attain to something. Now you want to say you can live through me.
And give somebody something you don't even live.
And that's unfair because you have to allow me to walk the life that God wants me and have me come into the acknowledgement of it for myself.
Right.
So I'm not saying I'm not going to be a preacher, but let me come to that understanding on my own. It will mean more to me.
Right.
I'll come into it.
I'll be more beneficial.
Right.
I'm telling you to work better.
If
I realize it.
Let me realize it. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like for me, like with my family, is just be like certain things that they expected with me, and they just like always expected me to just be like, oh, you know, you can't miss church, like, you know, like you the only cousin that really comes, you know what I mean? So it was just like, I'm like, look, right now in my life, I got some stuff I have to work out. I mean, there was times where I had to apologize to someone in the church, and I gave out my whole heart for the first time, and that person didn't say one word to me, anything. They didn't show no emotion. It was just like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is all right. Okay, Lord. I did my job. You know, the blood's on your hands at the end of the day.
That's it.
So, but that really, like, put the icing on the cake for me. That's when I knew I was like, I'm done, like, forever. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm out.
Yeah.
So, it just, you know, you just gotta, like I said, like, the expectations that people put on me caused me to go and apologize to people, you know, that hurt me. And, you know, some results, like you said, you're going to get hurt. Some results you just don't, you know, get back in time. But, you know, through time, God heals the heart, you know, heals the wound and stuff. So just keep going, keep pressing, you know.
And it teaches us that we can't live to other people's expectations.
Yeah,
right.
You can't.
Like, you can't.
No.
You have to go to God and say, God, what is it you want for my life?
Yeah.
And these are the plans that I have for my own life, because we have our own plans as well.
Right.
And then we can say, okay, God, like, you know, what my desire is to put, the only expectation that we should want to live up to is everything that God
set for us.
Right.
But when we put our expectations on other people, God will allow situations that be as disappointing for us to say,
Yes.
you know what, like, you're hurt because you're living up to man's expectations.
Right.
And you're trying to follow some other man that I ain't even say.
Yeah, that's true.
That ain't even say. It ain't
That's
for
right.
me. You got to learn. And now in my life, I'm going like, okay, Lord, I want whatever you want for me. I try living the way that I want. I try my plans. Now, Lord, what is your plan for me? I want what you have for me. And that's how we keep our expectations pure. We keep our relationship with God intact. And we can deal with other people properly because I know where my source of information comes. That's right. Because if I put my expectation with you, then you have control over me. And I'm scared to disappoint you. And I'm scared to go to you, and I'll just take fault all the time because I don't want you looking at me different. I don't want you talking to me different. I'm trying to save face, you know? But no, when I understand that my destiny is in the hands of the Father.
Yes.
And nothing you can say or do to me is going to deter what my destiny is.
Definitely.
Then I can be like, hey man, you know, when you said that to me, it hurt my feelings.
Right.
And if you don't react the way, well, it's
whatever.
cool.
Yeah.
And
you have to grow to that. You have to grow to that. That's why it's important to really, like I said, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Like it's like you got to get to know God because you got to be mature.
That seek be rough sometimes.
It'd be rough. And it'll break you down because we're all fragile individuals. Like we're gonna break, you know. But that's when God, you know, molds us and put us back together, and He uses His hands. He's working.
Right.
So,
right. It's very true.
Somebody gonna see you up there and looking nice after God, you know, molds you and everything, put you back together after you've been broken. So
yeah, somebody will recognize it because you'll be different. You just
definitely.
You will be different.
Gloss on there.
Yeah,
gloss.
You will be different. You see this new light. People will be questioning, like, what happened to you?
Exactly.
Like,
where you at now?
So the one's still stuck. Why are you so bright?
Exactly.
You lightened up a little bit. Your skin.
Wait a minute.
They always think it's a church. What church you go to?
Right.
This is God.
Exactly.
Exactly. God. This is scripture.
That's why we can use our church hurt as a growth experience.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how you really rise above the church hurt. It's a growth experience.
Yeah.
And then it just reveals the mindset of where people are. Like, if you mad because I come in here and I walk in the middle row, you're going to come check me? that shows me where you are.
Yeah, it's like...
I don't have to internalize that because, we're on two different levels right now.
That's right.
Because it took all I had just to get to church and you tripping because I'm coming out the middle row. But our relationship with God is different.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you don't have to, I can address things. It's a growth moment for me. Like, you're really mad because you can't control me.
That's what it is.
That's what it really is.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna hold my head down and no, you just mad because you can't control me. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why people start treating folks different when you get free, and they can't control you anymore.
Free.
They want to
exactly. Listen, you won't get calls. You won't get as many calls. You won't get invited to stuff. You
won't
get checked on.
You don't get nothing, right? But you're good.
Yeah, you're free. You don't care at that point.
It's just that people try. A lot of people, not just in the church, but just people in general. I mean, some people have that natural need to just want to control and just your life is actually my life. So if you're not doing what you've always done, which is what I expect you to do, right? Because people set expectations based off of usually our behavior, right? So if, I always use this example, if my hours are from 8 to 5, but every day I show up at 7 and work 7 to 5, the moment I come in at 8 and the manager says you're late, no, I'm not. Right. I'm not late. You can't write me up or nothing because actually I've been doing y'all a favor.
Okay.
Right? But to them, they didn't realize that, right? Who cares, right? The expectation is you've been setting this pattern. And that's what we're used to, right? So if you've allowed a pattern to be set, right? A pattern of abuse, a pattern of whatever, if you've allowed a pattern of, I can call you whenever I want to call you and tell you, get up out the bed and go do this and that for me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to put this guilt trip on you. Right. Guess what? You got up out the bed and you did whatever they wanted you to do. Yep. But the moment that stuff stops, you're not the puppet master anymore, right? That's what you do. You got to go get a new puppet. Yep. So now somebody else has quickly filled that spot. Right? They filled the spot, because until you get free, you're always going to have that need, that desire internally, because it's just a false desire. God gives us, God fills us. He fills those voids, but when you have that unresolved, that open space in your heart, you know, you always feel like you have to do something to keep filling it. But in the process, it not only hurts the other person, you know, but it hurts you.
Yeah.
Because it's just a false, it's all fake. Yeah. You know, it's literally all fake. Yeah, exactly.
I gotta know.
You know,
stay right there.
You know, like people who are controlling like that, it's something that's unfulfilled within men.
That's right.
And they can control it. So it's like, oh, let me control this because I'm really unfulfilled in here.
That's right.
And when you break that, you be like,
that's so.
And it's hurt because for the person who's like, you know, being controlled. Because they're giving their honest, they're giving their 100%, they're really giving their heart. But then once they get free or once it gets broken, you know, once you say no that one time or, you know, I'm not doing this, then you see from a different lens, like what?
Yeah.
Oh, so now you thinking way back from the beginning, like, oh my God, now it's shame, now you dealing with hurt, all kind of stuff, like, you know, used and abused and all. You think about everything now. Everything. And
those thoughts can be very overwhelming.
Yes.
I mean, to the point of anger,
breaking
to
down,
the point of depression, to the point, like you said, mental breakdown. And all the while, this person is just moving on.
Exactly.
Got a whole other person that fills your spot that they controlling now. And you're the one going through this wilderness period for however long, thinking you about to die or kill your own self or something, you know, because it's just not a good space. It's just not a good space that you're now in. But, you know, like you say, you're under one impression, right? You're just believing, wow, like they really care for me. They value me. They respect me. So if they are the one, if they want me to do this, I'm just doing it and I'm going to give it my all. Because it seems like, right? It appears as if. It appears as if this is love. It appears as if this is
being
care. And, you know, because we have that natural need and a desire to be wanted and to be loved and to be nurtured. And sometimes when we deal with that unresolved abandonment and rejection and things of that nature, we allow our own holes in our heart to be filled by these controlling bodies, right? And then we get controlled and then we start kind of seeing, or it takes somebody to come into our life to show us kind of the truth, right? And as much as you don't see it for so long, at some point, because God wants us to be free, you know, at some point, it's revealed. And like you said, when you get it, you get it.
Yeah, you get it.
You start going back, you know, you start
all kind of stuff.
You start thinking stuff, you about to go kill everybody, you know, like something's about to happen, you know.
But we also gotta learn from it. So next time going into a situation, we gotta pray and say, Lord, what it is that you want me to do.
Right.
Exactly. My yes be yes and my no be no.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm only gonna do what I feel comfortable with. That way, if it doesn't work out the way I wanted to, I won't feel disappointed. I give it to the level that I know that I can give to them. I won't do much more. That's how you keep your motives and intents pure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you
exactly.
learn from it. We don't learn from it. We're gonna find ourselves in the same cycle.
Learn from it. And then when you free, you don't expect. You just like, oh, I recognize that. I'm out. All right, y'all have a nice day. You know what I mean? Just that's why you gotta be free. That's why you gotta know God for yourself. Don't even expect, like, even when you go to a different church, don't expect just to like know everybody. Just go there, get the word. You know, invest in God more, and just be free. Yeah, everything else will come.
Exactly.
Light.
Exactly. Yeah.
It will attract people.
Because when you're free, I mean, you handle things very differently.
Definitely.
Yes, you do.
Because, you know, when you're still angry and still have that unresolved stuff going on in your own heart, you quick to let the next person know, like, listen. You know,
they
you
you know
know
what
I mean? Exactly, you know, or you trying to check everybody or whatever, but, you know, when you're free, you just pray about it, you know?
And I want to bring up a little segue, seeing that you guys are married, and, you know, we've all gone through, like, church fight. How do you, in a relationship, cover the other person? Like, does it hurt you to see that the other person is hurting?
That's
like,
good.
How do you help cover the person in a relationship that's been hurt, that also might be taking it out on you because they don't like this upset, you know?
Right.
Like, it just how does that affect the relationship, and how do you guys keep it centered?
Okay.
So I was the one taking it out on her.
Yeah.
But
did you know that? When you asked the question?
No, I didn't know.
no, that's why I was
I
laughing.
thought you said it was.
That's why we was laughing, because it was like, okay,
yeah.
you on to something, Bond. Okay, you on to something, brother. No, but going through my own transition, I didn't understand it, and it was like a whirlwind for me. So here I'm dealing with, young, early year and a half, like 2. And my son, he's just born. Dealing with a newlywed family, I'm supporting them, and I'm trying to figure out this God thing, and I'm struggling, and not understanding. I'm dealing with a lot. Car repossessed, like all kind of stuff, just start falling apart. I mean, I'm like fighting the air. At this point, I'm fighting the air, but. I'll never forget, one thing that I do know that it allowed us to come together, the fights and me dumping or, the different things, it allowed us to come together. And I'm telling you, God used that, my hurt to bring us closer. And it matured her in a way of praying and even being sensitive, like in ways. So she, my wife from the hood, she kind of, a little rah. And it was literally like we flipped. Like I was very hard, and naturally I'm very heartfelt. I love God's people. I love people, and it like reversed. And so the Lord was just like, because of you allow so much hurt to spill over, or you allow this little thing that could have been done, with a simple conversation, now it's creeping into your home, and it's touching and it's infecting different things, even just trying to neglect and be away from my family, she wouldn't let me. It was like literally the Spirit of the Lord was just like on her. When she would come to me, it was soft spoken. Oh, it irritated me. I was like really going through like, I want to be mad, but she was just like, I felt the Lord was just speaking through her like, no, I'm not going to allow you to sulk in this right here, because I need you to move. This is not a long process. This is a quick process. This is something I need done, now. And so even with that, I knew it was the Lord. And even when I look back, it was God, because she, not saying that she's not sweet now, but it was different. Like, I've seen wings come up out of her. Like when I say stuff, like it be one of the things like, da-da-da-da, and then you duck. She would just be like, come here, let me hold your hand. And we would literally pray in the middle of the grocery aisle, or about to get in the car. I'm frustrated, let's pray. And those things would, I'm chiseling at my heart until it got to a point to where God was able to get me and move me to where, okay, I understand now. Like now I'm frustrated, but I can pray. Because my wife was still being on me, showing me consistent, and then it created a habit to where, okay, well, I might as well pray. That's the only thing working. I can't go, drink or nothing, but that was like not an option. It was just prayer.
Yeah.
So how did you find the strength to do all that?
I was
easy.
She got a
strong
when
I was pregnant, and I knew I had, a young man in my belly, so Wyatt helped me a lot. So it was just like, okay, sure. So I was just like, like, okay, what if this was like Wyatt and, his wife? Like, I would put that, my son in that position. I'm like, dang, I would want his wife to pray for him. Yeah. I would want his wife to cover him. Yeah. I would want his wife to really be there, showing him love. So it was just like, okay, sure, you got to get out of your ways at this point. Like, he really needs you at this point. So, God to be like, Sherelle, don't react. Like, that's when I started learning how to, like, really tame my tongue. Okay, don't say that. Because I already know he's more sensitive, like, with different stuff. So, like, if I see him, like, because Terrence's outlet was really just, he'd go to the game, he'd just shut me off completely. I'm like, babe, I was thinking, like, we should talk about this. And I'll just be gentle. But really, it was just the support system that I had. My mom.
Really
and his mom. And I was like, I don't know how to be a wife. This is my first time. I don't know. I'm about to be a mom. I don't know how to be a mom. This is my first time.
I'm
so,
scared.
And then sometimes I went to his father. His father was a big help. He was like, don't do that. And no, that's the worst thing you can do to a man. And I just be like, oh my God, just, because, it's the opposite, different, people. So, he's a man, I'm a woman. So it's like, oh, I thought that would have worked. But he was like, no, don't do that. He's going to do this and this. You got the baby. He's just thinking about the baby. So I'm like, okay, so what should I do? So I just had a really good support team. I really never went to anybody else, you know what I mean? Just really my mom, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. And they really helped me support him. And that's what helped me, support him.
And that's good. I mean, because we talked about like the expectations and things. Like he had a certain expectation of you, right?
Yeah,
because that's who you were, who you used to be.
I was
right?
ready.
You was ready. You was stop it. So they were like, you don't know what to do now, right?
Right.
Like you done what? Why are you responding like you're not even being your normal self? Now I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, I was. Because now I'm looking at myself like, oh man, you a jerk. Man, like, she getting delivered. I'm sitting here.
Exactly. You really gonna be mad at her for her
being a good wife?
That's expectation though. It's like he used to me being my
It was literally a deliverance for both of us. And like that was my first time experiencing it in like a covenant. Like how God like really like orchestrated it, because it literally brought our relationship to a whole nother level. Like 3 a.m. conversations, just talking and just conversating about our life and where we're going.
Two people that were hurt from church came together.
It was
and that was
beautiful.
Nah, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, no.
I ain't gonna have that expectation on that. That was building that church. Oh, Sharon, Terry, building church, they still on there.
No, we're not doing that.
We're getting built. We're getting built. I'm building us.
No infrastructures. no buildings.
Exactly, because that'd be the new rumor.
Right. I don't want to talk too quick either. You just never know, though. I'm being honest. You just never know.
Wait till You never know.
We don't know either, so we just talking with you.
Yeah, don't know either. Anybody, as we wrap this up, I mean, I think this is great. I had a great time myself. I don't know about y'all, but anybody got any last words of encouragement, anything on your heart, anything you could say to the person who was us, coming up in this thing and kind of, either wavering or not, but going through life, just going through life, so.
I would say just trust your process. Like, just really, if you're going through something, don't try to rush and try to go to a different church or, just go somewhere and try to get help. Just trust the process, really get into your word, really seek God, and also counseling. There's nothing wrong with getting counsel.
That's right.
Like, it's really needed. And it's always good to have, somebody witness something with you. So just really stay encouraged and really trust your process. I don't know how long it might be, but you just never know. But just trust the process. God will let you know when it's time.
I just piggyback on that.
I thought you were about to say something big. He was like, yeah.
Nah. Well, I mean, coming from someone who's, I wouldn't say I'm still, filtering through a lot of things. Yeah. And this conversation really got me thinking about a lot of things. And so maybe to the person who, maybe is like at the tail end or has been, back and forth or bouncing back and forth with thoughts or different things like that. One, trust your process and don't get caught up in what you see from other people or the people you were, maybe in leadership with, or, that should have been me, or that could have been me, that what I came to find out was a lot of the pressure was put on from me. I put those things on me because I thought that that's what, I needed to do for myself, or to, be wherever. I was never like, wanting to be there, but, well, if I keep preaching at this young age, well, I'm eventually be a bishop. Like, that's how I was internalizing it. Like, I'm preaching this young, well, the next thing, not understanding the weight in the trials that you got to go through. I was like, ooh, I'm going to check out that minister. But I'm just saying for that person that, you may see your colleagues or people, like, don't worry about that. Don't focus on it. Pull away. Sometimes you need to step out of church, step out of the four walls and really, take that time to, like you said, go through your process. Some of us, we don't want to leave church. We don't want to.
Sometimes they're in the church. Sometimes it's out of the church.
Sometimes you got to pull yourself away.
Yeah.
But that's mine.
Yeah, I would just say with church hurt, confront it, don't bury it.
Yeah.
Be aggressive with getting your healing.
Yes.
Be aggressive with your pursuit with God and really just letting this thing go so that it won't hinder and stifle you, but you'll be able to grow and go to the next place that God wants you to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just say, don't depend on the church that hurt you to reconcile with you first. Right? Because that may create a false expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But you go to God and in your time, the forgiveness really is for you. So
exactly.
In your time, you allow God to deal with that and understand that, like you said, sometimes it's stepping out, right? Because a lot of our most powerful, meaningful deliverance experiences are right in our own homes or in our car or just, it's not necessarily in the church facility, right?
Yes.
So by the time you do go back, you are free. You are a whole new person. You can say, you know what, can we get a meeting? Can we sit down and talk? Can we go to coffee or something? Even if they avoid it, you're still free.
Right.
Yes.
And so when the opportunity presents itself, you're ready.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready and you're at peace with it and you're good. Yeah. So however they take it, now they're going to have to deal with,
Exactly.
They're going to have to come to grips with it. But I had a great conversation. Thank you guys for, being with us in our conversation about growing up in church. And again, we want to recognize these artists that we have here, support them, give us your Instagram, and give us, how do we contact you guys? What's the name of your group? Give it to us all again.
3GXM, yee.
Okay.
Yee.
Mine's Sherelle Angela on IG, Sherelle Angela on Twitter, and Sherelle Dorsey, my bad. It was Sherelle Dorsey on Facebook, I'm sorry. Yeah. But if you type in Sherelle Angela, I'll pop up still.
Yeah.
And Vaughn has a phenomenal.
Yeah. What you got, Vaughn?
I wait for another video.
But what you can do is like this video, share this video,
share it.
And check out our new podcast.
It's on Apple, on Google Play.
Yes.
I do Diversif-I, so it'll be a blessing.
Go get that. Yeah.
YouTube as well.
YouTube. Cross Conversations.
Cross Conversations. Follow 3GXM on IG, 3GX Music.
Now you can play.
Now you got it right.
All right, y'all stay lit.